Dali.
We are live once again. Historic Sim Racing Organization presents Round 3 of the 1991 Formula One season at San Marino in Italy. I am Jason White. I'm your commentator for this evening. I'm joined in the booth by Alberto Ibañez and Pascal Mikula. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening, Jason. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Pascal Mikula will be playing the part of Alfred Hitchcock. Good evening. All right, so this is round 3 of the F1 season. Let's take a look at the points situation just to familiarize everybody. David Jakes has been dominating since he won both races to start the season. Greg Guassin is in second, tied with Raul Yareb, and then we have 5 points for the super sub, David Yunt. Jan Kowalski's 5th with 4 points, and then we have a tie in 6th between Mick Chapman and Peter Hlavik with 3 points. The constructors' standings, McLaren at the top with 22 points, Lola tied with Williams for 2nd with 6, Dallara tied with March for 4th with 4 points, and then Benetton and Minardi are tied for 6th with 3. So the question will be, can David Jakes continue his dominance? And certainly, if qualifying was any indication, the answer is probably yes. What do you guys think?
Yeah, likely so, because this is also a very quick track, very fast track, where the
User
power of the
disconnected from your
McLaren
channel.
Honda will certainly be very important.
I would say we should slowly start calling him Mr. Senna, according to his performances.
Though he's in Jeddah Vegas.
I think after the race we switch cars.
Well, that's a conversation for another time. But we'll definitely be able to see in this race. Not only will he continue that dominance, but who will be able to come to the front. One thing to keep in mind as we look at the track map. San Marino, which is about 3 miles around, a little over 3 miles. Today's race is 61 laps or 2 hours, whichever comes first. And I would point out that the circuit, which was refined and polished by our good friend Francois Remen, who's also in the race, it is done to historically reflect the state of the track to a certain extent. It is dry on the track, but just offline, it's wet. Or, sorry, not offline, off the track surface, it is wet, in the grass and in the dirt. So, and in any tarmac that's just off of the actual racing surface. So if people get a wheel off of the main racetrack surface, there could be some problems.
Yeah. I mean,
That's right, it will be very unforgiving if you go out of the tarmac, because that part is wet, as you said, and the car continues sliding until it stops against a hard wall, which is likely to mean a retirement
User
with a
was
broken
moved
suspension.
out of your channel.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, would be quite well. I mean, you almost said that it was wet off the racing line, and that would be quite extreme. But so
Yeah, we can't do that. But but if you look
That's
there, just at that shot right now, you can see that the tarmac that's just off to the right, where the Pirelli logos are, that is wet, and so is the Minetti Morelli section on the left-hand side. So we all know what it's like at the start. People are going to be jockeying for position, so we may see some spray get thrown up.
Also, right now I just saw Mark Florkin getting off track there after the Aqua Minerale. So that just showed also how wet the grass is. Yeah.
All right, so the warm-up will conclude in 54 seconds here. Let's take a look at the starting grid right now. On the pole, David Jakes once again in his McLaren Honda with a time of 1:23.588, which is over a second faster than Mikael Janak, who is starting second in the Ferrari. Third, we have Mick Chapman, and he's starting in the new Benetton B191. He's ditched the B190, and he's flanked by Jan Kowalski in the March Ilmore. Next row, Francois Remen in the Dallara Judd, and his teammate, Martin Lucena. Next row is all Williams with Raul Yareb with a 1:25.814 and his teammate Philippe Martinelli. In the 5th row, Greg Bourgoisin is starting in 9th, continuing his stretch of starting in the top 10, and Gerard Rion in the Tyrrell Honda starts in 10th place. Now let's go through the rest of the field. We have Gabriel Del Piccolo and Juha Boss in row 6, Richard Coxon and Paolo Rossetti in row 7. 15th is David Yunt, 16th Mark Florkin. Carol, you guys are going to have to help me with this name. Carol is...
We don't know how to pronounce it either.
Well,
so.
Carol is starting at 17th. Ray Rodal is 18th. 19th, Vincent Beretta. 20th is Peter Hlavik. Yves Placé, 21st. That's a better starting situation than we had for, now that I think about it, they had in the previous race. Steve Parker's 22nd. Ludovic Tiengu, 23rd, 24th. Brian Janik, 25th. Jonathan Asclint, and Didier Congeot starts in last. We're going to the race session now.
Direct start. No
Yeah,
warm-up
direct
lap.
start.
No warm-up lap, so we cannot see any Ferraris going off on the warm-up lap?
No, we're not going to. We're historically accurate, but not that much.
So pay attention now, because cars will be picking up a lot of speed, and
Yes.
they will come very quick to the first chicane, and that will be very tight there with so many cars.
Okay,
Yes.
lights are on.
And the race is underway!
Good start from David Jackson.
Very good start.
No.
Oh no, there's a crash.
Oh my goodness, there's multiple cars.
Oh,
Multiple cars off the track.
lots of carbon fiber flying around.
My goodness, what was that?
That was...
Oh,
I
Raul
can see
Yareb
here Greg
has
Van
lost
Zen's
his tire and
activities.
he's out of the race. My goodness, we've got several cars. Yeah, we've got Juha Boss limping along here, and Gregor Guassin.
I think the cause of that was Francois Raman.
Yeah,
at the
going
start he
sideways.
went off. Yeah, he went off the line and onto a wet part of the track, and then he just hit Jan Kowalski and Martin Lassina.
And Felipe
everyone.
Martinelli seems to be struggling with the damaged car, because he just went off and I saw some sparks coming out. He has fallen to last position, I believe. Richard Coxon is also out. Oof.
Oh man, what a travesty for those people, especially for Gregor, because this was a chance that he would have had to try to at least stay close to David Jakes in terms of points, but clearly that's not going to happen today. David Jakes pulling out a huge gap already, and we have Mick Chapman in second place with the Benetton B191, and Mikhail Yannick had a little better start this time, and he's in third.
Oh.
As they come through the Varianta Bassa.
Raul was-
Raul Jereb is missing a full
Yeah,
front
Raul
wheel.
Yeah,
is
Raul
missing
Yareb
a
is
wheel.
definitely out of the race because he's missing a wheel.
There are several cars still on track that actually quite damaged.
out. He's
I
out
believe
of
that
the
the
race.
grid is actually much thinner than it appears.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he just stopped. There's no way he can get back to the race. I don't
Once-
think that can be repaired.
well, I mean, I know there are some mods that when you come to the pits, sometimes a wheel will be repaired. But here we have the cars coming
Yeah,
through.
for example-
Gabriel Del Piccolo has come way up the grid. There's Carol in the second McLaren. Here's Peter Hlavik taking Vincent Beretta. We're looking at all of this at
And Greg
Tosa.
Pascal is limping into the pits. He's not giving up. Look at that.
He still, yeah, he also lost the wheel.
Well, we
He's
got-
out
we-
of the race.
We've got
The wheel
several.
on the front wing, but he's not giving up.
We got several
You want
people
boss?
in the pits at
Johan
once
Boss
here.
has no wings.
We got
Raul-
Tiengu, we got Ludovic Tiengu in the Ligier Lamborghini and Lassina's in, and here comes Raul Yareb in, but
With
again
Harper Williams.
in the Williams, but you know I don't know, you know, it'll be interesting to see if he can get this car repaired. He's backing up now.
Soon, right now, it looks like, yeah, Greg Wassin, he's almost caught up by David Jakes. Greg is now into.
Oh,
into
here's
the-
Greg now. Greg is now coming into the pits, or is
No,
he?
he's-
No,
no,
he's What is he doing?
I don't know. He's
He
he's
maybe
just
missed
driving on.
the pit entry.
No, he didn't.
No,
didn't
he
even
he
try.
had an opportunity there to go into the pits and he didn't do it. So I don't know what's
didn't-
going on here. But here
That's-
comes the leader. He's going to overtake Greg Watson. This is going to be slightly awkward.
Oh God, let's hope nothing bad happens.
Oh, Greg gets okay. Greg gets out of the way. So, but really, Greg shouldn't be out there. To be perfectly honest, you shouldn't be getting in the way of the leaders.
Oh, there was almost. Oh, and there's.
Oh goodness! Mick Chapman
that's
off the
a-
track, and Guasen's off the track too, but were completely
fit.
unrelated spins. They didn't have anything to do with each other. Chapman's stuck now, and he's doing the right thing, waiting for the track to... Oh, wait a minute. Is he out of the race?
Boom. Sorry, I didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
Hey,
Chapman's out of the race. Oh, no. That's unfortunate because I didn't see anything wrong with his car. He just simply spun out. So why did he quit? He shouldn't have quit out like that. He could have rejoined.
honestly, what on earth is Greg doing? He's out of the race. He should... That's... I expect something to happen.
Well,
After the race.
this is definitely not... I mean, obviously... I mean, we'll see what happens when he comes around this time to the pits, but clearly he's missing a wheel.
Yeah.
He's got to see that. He's got to see that. Okay, now he's getting in people's way. Okay, this is dangerous because he almost got into his teammate's way there, just trying to keep the car going straight. And if he does much more of this, he's going to end up taking somebody out, and that's not going to be good. As Janik goes by now. Philippe Martinelli runs wide, but...
Sorry, Yves Placet just overtake Carrel and Peter Labert too. It seems like Carrel is struggling with the McLaren a little bit. Or at least he doesn't have the speed of the Minardis.
Greg runs clear through the Varianta Bassa situation, and he's continuing on the track. I don't believe this. Why is he doing this?
Someone give him the black flag, seriously.
Well, he really shouldn't be continuing. Oh, goodness! Juha Boss out of the race. We just caught a brief glimpse of it.
Oh, I see smoke there.
Yeah, it looks like something's going on. Oh, there's somebody off the track there. That was Mark Florkin, I believe, and he is without a front wing.
I'm just watching. Juha Boss. Juha went out of the pits again after his long pit stop, and he just, like other drivers, car undrivable.
Florkin driving around Guasin. We didn't have an opportunity, and Florkin's doing this without a front wing, and he's probably coming to the pits.
Yannick just had a little jump at Acqua Minerale and almost got caught by Philippe Martinelli.
Yeah, Brian Janik driving the Lamborghini. I mean, this is a situation. I mean, you obviously don't like to see other competitors go out of the race early. You don't wish that on somebody, but this has got to be this is a fantastic opportunity for Janik to do something with this this car, which frankly, it's amazing that he was able to get it onto the grid. Greg
was standing on the racing line after the second I don't know the turn name, but he was forcing
he made a full spin,
to...
and then he recovered.
Okay, now he's spinning again.
I really don't understand what he's doing.
This
is already stopped for repairs.
To leave the racing line.
He's had many opportunities to pull into the pits and try to repair the car, but he's continuing circulating the track on three wheels.
I don't think it would give him anything other than post-race penalties.
Oh, he misses again the pits.
Okay,
this
now
is nonsense.
At this point, Greg is not
classified.
Well, we're going to have to take some kind of action here because we can't have him continuing to circulate the track in this condition. He's going to cause an accident. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, of course.
So what? I'm going to have to take off my commentator's cap here for a moment, and
he spun again.
He spun again.
He has to be shown the black flag. That's just unbelievable driving that he does. Not in a good way.
Well, I'm going to have to. What I was going to say is I'm going to take off my my hat as a broadcaster right now and look at this from the point of view of an admin. And Alberto carries the same rank. What do you think we should do in this situation?
I'd put a message for him to either enter next time by or quit.
All right. That is what I will do.
No.
He's right now close to the
Ludovic Tengu.
Yes.
But he's giving him space. It looks like. No, he's just. Well, at least he's not deliberately trying.
Yeah,
to
but he
cause an
obviously
accident.
doesn't have full control of the car. I mean, we've talked
Not
before
at- not
about
at all.
we talked about his ability to drive, but even in this situation, it's not ideal.
I think at this time, today, that accident, his temper, his temper just got the better of him.
He's got to be
don't
able to see.
think-
Oh, David Jakes goes off the track, so that's the second time the leaders lapped Greg Boissin.
Now Greg. I see. He's got a pit request up.
All right, well, good.
Oh.
So we'll have to. This is kind of silly because Greg is getting TV time for all the wrong reasons. Okay, here he is coming into the pits finally. So at least he's
Okay.
not.
And also we just missed Philippe Martinelli off or out of the race.
Yeah, because we've been busy watching this silly.
Yeah, he had
Just-
like we observed before, he had a damaged car. So yeah.
Oh yeah, after the Tosa. Oh, that's not good. He just went off. Unfortunate.
All right, well,
So meanwhile, David Jacques is in the front, and he has already 12 seconds between him and Michal Janak.
he's coming up now in
qualified
Ludovic
with Ferrari.
Tiangu in the Ligier Lamborghini. And Ludovic doesn't make any trouble for David. Now through the Aqua Minerale, which is a really...
Greg is starting again, but on 3 wheels.
See,
It seems that his car won't be repaired completely.
No, I don't. No, his front left suspension is gone completely. So
yeah,
now there are two people. That's Brian Yannick and Jonathan Esserkopf, and those two are in a fight for position. Okay, now Mark Florkin is rolling into the pits, and he's really just rolling without a front wing.
all right, Greg's pulling off to the side here, so I think he's finally decided this is, he's done all that he can do. I'm sure that we'll find that Greg thought he was wronged in some way on the start, and
Oh, he's still flooring the accelerator now. I think he's. What is he?
I'm not sure what's going on here, but
Is he trying to blow his
Right.
engine?
his
Yes,
engine is
probably.
blown now. Yes.
Yep,
Well, there we go. That's the end of that.
That's
Um,
A-rate.
But
That's
so that I don't understand. Still comes up as an accident. David Jakes continuing to lead, and that lead is increasing to Michal Janik, 14 seconds. And then we have, this is really amazing, Gabriel Del Piccolo in the Lotus. Judd is in third place. Fantastic.
Some valuable
So
points
we
for
have some
Lotus.
reactions in the forum already.
I don't doubt that we do.
Oh. I don't
Yeah.
think that will be lots
Francois
of
Remen
love
has raised his finger. He says, guys, I'm sorry because I spun on the wet, and as a result, massive para.
Well, Francois, that's good that he admits it right out of the gate, and of
Oh,
course... Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah, it was a three-way fight between a Leighton House, Vincent Beretta, Karel in the McLaren, and Larousse of David, and I just saw from David's perspective that
Goodness.
Karel is struggling with the car.
He is, and Yunt gets by.
Oh. How many cars are in the race anyways?
Presently,
No,
we
16.
have 16 cars
16.
left in the race, so that early debacle cost us 10 cars. That's insane. That's a lot of people. Let's go through the order right now with about 8 laps complete out of 61. David Jakes is the leader. Michal Janik is in second in the Ferrari. Gabriel Del Piccolo third in the Lotus. Fourth is Gerard Rion, the Tyrrell. And then we have the Minardi Ferraris of Peter Hlavik and Yves Placé in 5th and 6th. And they started way back, like in 21st and 22nd, I believe. Paolo Rossetti is in 7th. Vincent Beretta 8th. David Yunt now up to 9th after he got by Carroll. Carroll is in 10th. Then we have Ray Radal in 11th. Jonathan Asserclint in 12th. Brian Janik in the Modena is 13th. Didier Conjo is 14th. And Ludovic Tiangu, 15th. Mark Florkin, after his pit stop to repair the car, is 16th, and he's the last car running.
That's well. I think that starting accident reminds me of Spa 1998. Like,
Well, I
Just
don't. I mean,
then-
similar to. I think I remember the race that you're talking about. But it was.
yeah, after La Source.
Mhm. So, the interest in this race, it appears, will be it's going to be a situation where a lot of people are going to be saying, well, you know, maybe we should have restarted, maybe we should have kept going, but
I think that classifies just as a racing accident. Oh, I mean, like, yeah, probably for the sake of the racing game, that could be an argument for having restarted, but
there could have been, but that's a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
Going down the restart road is actually a very slippery slope. We got into that situation last year where we started restarting a bunch, and it got out of hand really fast. Once people realized that they could use the first start as a mulligan and get another one, you know, then suddenly the start quality just deteriorated. So once you start doing that, it's at least in my estimation, it's a slippery slope.
Vincent Beretta having brake problems, and he's trying to get out of
Oh goodness! Yeah, he's off the track.
Yeah,
but
he's on again, and also I just saw Paolo Rossetti and the Lotus getting between those two minorities.
Okay, here's the replay. Yeah. Vincent just went onto the dirt there, and that dirt, as we've mentioned, is wet. So once you get off in there, you have no grip. And now he's trying to move the car forward, and I think we got a bit of a ping.
is out.
Yeah, he's back on the track now, thankfully.
Mark Flocken is out of the race, so we only have 15 cars now.
We have some more reactions in the forum.
Oh,
Mick
boy.
Chapman just posted a message full of asterisks. I'm going to spare you the
Oh,
contents
God.
of it, but he's not exactly happy with himself.
Uh,
And regarding Greg Wassen, I think his message is, well,
it's probably
it's quite
understandably
moderated for what
quite
he
honest.
could have said.
Censorship 1+.
Yep.
But
But
whoa, there was-
considering that François Rebet admitted that he spun on the wet parts of the circuit, Greg not politely reminded him that he added those wet parts to the circuit.
Yes.
I would say that's karma.
That's true. So, with that drama out of the way, I mean, David Jakes obviously is just marching away now at this point.
Yeah, he's telling us
but,
dominance of his.
Yeah, but the
Right.
other thing to consider is that there are people who are going to benefit from this. Most notably, Gabriel Del Piccolo, who's running in third right now. I mean,
And
here's a guy
Minardi.
who's in his first year of HSO competition, and didn't have the smoothest race in Phoenix, from what I remember, but did better at Interlagos. And if he's able to bring the Lotus home in a good position, that's pretty impressive.
I must say he's doing way better than I did last year when I debuted.
Well, the trick
Just
is going to be, and he's basically in what we would call a solid third place right now, meaning there's miles of room in front of him and miles of room behind him. So we'll have to see how he does as the race progresses. I don't think. Okay, here's the other question. We don't know what the wear rate is at this track. I would think maybe there's a possibility there'll be tire stops. What do you guys think?
Yeah, probably. But I think depends on
It
the
could be the
driving style.
case. It could be the case
Probably.
because the track is very quick. So I guess that will be very high wear when you go through the high-speed turns. The tires take a big beating because of the forces involved. But so yeah, it could happen.
Oh, Larus versus Minardi, Yunt versus Placé. Really close.
All right.
And Yunt,
Yes, there is a
David
big
Yunt,
fight
he's
there
driving
from 5th to 8th. There is a big fight there because Paolo Rossetti with the
yes.
other Lotus is also catching up quickly.
Yes,
on,
this is the
Minerva
closest
at
battle
Babac.
on the track right now. David Yunt just in front of Yves Placé.
Yeah, David, he just put his He called his car with lots of love Lolrus, and he put it in front of the Minardi.
Yeah, he managed to overtake Eves.
Also, Paulo Rossetti and Peter Lavert are, well, let's say they're quite close too. Also, Michael Janak, he's going to be lapping his teammate really soon.
Yeah, I mean, Miguel Yannick started second, and clearly he's lost a lot of ground to the leader, but this has got to be gratifying for him, though, because when he started Interlagos, he was also on the outside of the front row and ended up getting shuffled all the way back to 6th. So this has been a better start for him, however you slice it.
Hmm?
And the digital representations of fans here, if they could applaud and do things like actual fans, they would be very happy, because you've got both Ferraris in the race, which did not happen in the actual San Marino Grand Prix, as Didier Congeot lets Michael Yannick by. In the real race, those of you who've seen the footage, Alain Prost spun off actually right about here, the section we're looking at now. On the parade lap, as I say that, Michael Yannick runs wide. And then Jean Alesi had an accident like 3 laps into the race, so the Tifosi immediately just started streaming out of the racetrack. And James Hunt, who was the color commentator at the time, mentioned, well, I would not want to be a Ferrari driver right about now, because both...
And while David Jant has been able to put some seconds on Yves Placer after overtaking, Paolo Rossetti is right now on the very tail of Peter Lavak, who just made an error.
Oh, he did, just now.
He lost his position.
He did, but he's going to try to retaliate here.
Boom!
He's right with Paolo Rossetti, so this is definitely not over. Yeah, Rossetti is in 6th, and you can see there, when you get offline like that, you throw up a lot of spray. So it's that's a dangerous thing to do.
Lots of drivers are getting offline, off track at the start-finish line, because you often see that spray getting thrown up in the air.
Peter Hlavik very close to Paolo Rossetti now, but doesn't have the room to actually make an attempt at overtaking. Rossetti is in the last points-paying position, 6th place. Peter Hlavik in 7th. Up to Aqua Minerale. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the corner just before. I was a little bit ahead of myself there.
Having a huge speed advantage now, going to Tosa against Ray Riddell. Ray Riddell is losing it. No, Vincent Beretta lost it. Okay.
Well, that would be
what I just watched was basically Vincent Beretta going with about 20 to 30 kph speed advantage over Ray Riddell, but he lost it the rear over brake.
Well, that's the second time that he's lost it in Tosa. This time nowhere near as bad as the previous one. Yeah, he's going to have to watch that. The other thing to point out, Jan Kowalski, who had started 4th, he's out of the race. Let's go through real quickly the retirements. Steve Parker, 26th. Francois Remen, who, from what we understand, was the catalyst for the accident. Jan Kowalski, Richard Coxon, Raul Yareb, Juha Boss, Martin Lucina, Mick Chapman, Greg Guassin, Philippe Martinelli, and Mark Florkin are all out of the race. The people who were originally involved in the incident, I believe, stops at Juha Boss, but of course, well, Greg obviously too, but probably about half of those retirements were direct results from the accident at the start. So the gap now has increased to 23 seconds between David Jakes and Michael Yannick. Gabriel Del Piccolo running by himself, and Gerard Rion basically doesn't have anyone he's running with at the moment. Rossetti now is pulling out a bit of a gap to Peter Hlavik. If both Lotuses...
Yes, he almost put a full second, almost.
Yeah, if both
so
Lotus...
That's clear the reason why he was catching him.
So once he got out in front of him, he's now unencumbered. If both Lodi...
Vincent Beretta is trying again to put some pressure on Ray Riddell, meanwhile.
Oh yeah,
back of the grid.
and I think he.
Oh goodness! I'm just reading through the forum, and yeah, maybe
Yeah,
I can barely read what he wrote.
Yeah, this is a
If you
family
try to
program,
do-
so let's let
I'm
the.
I'm not gonna read it out loud.
Okay,
Don't
good. I mean,
I can barely decrypt it. So,
well, I'm really amazed.
You
I mean,
don't really want to.
Ray ran slightly wide here, so it looks like Vincent Beretta may have another shot here. This is actually really complimentary of Vincent's abilities as a driver because he's had 2 offs, and he's still able to stay with Radal. By the way, Ray Radal is debuting, and so is Coxon until he was out of the race. The new Brabham BT60Y, which is oh man.
let's see.
Yeah, be careful. Don't do that. Okay, now he's got an excellent opportunity here.
And look at the speed advantage that the Leighton House
Oh, he
has.
certainly does.
Look at this. Ray Radal barely getting 310, and Vincent
Now let's
Beretta
see if he
already
can
at
get down
330.
through here and not spin. This time he makes it stick.
I would say Richard Coxon after the crash he could say Brabham, why you do this to me?
Brabham, why you... Well,
Yeah. But well, it's basically he was innocent in the crash. He just got caught up like 9 others.
yeah. There could also have been a visibility problem. But now you have Radal actually catching up. And we have the leader, David Jakes, coming up behind these two. So that's going to make this rather interesting. We'll see if Ray Radal can counterattack here. But of course, at some point, he's going to have to let the McLaren by. This is always a really challenging situation when you're the leader and you're coming up to 2 people who are embroiled in a battle. They may not necessarily be aware that you're there. And even if they are aware that you're there, they want to continue their fight. They don't want to give anything up. I know for a fact that it can allow someone to slip through if it happens at the wrong time.
Sorry, I'm really sorry. I got to read what Greg wrote.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, we're historically accurate in many ways here at HSO, and one of them would be, at times, the drama that occurs when things don't go quite right. So Vincent Beretta now is going to be lapped by David Jakes, and actually this has caused a situation where he's got a little bit of breathing room now between himself and Ray Radal.
Yeah, and it could have been an opportunity for Ray Radal to recover his position.
Okay,
He had been
Rarion.
able to follow the leader, but
Did we notice already
it
that
seems that he's
Rarion
lagging
was out?
behind.
Oh my goodness, you're right. Gerard Rion is out of the race. Let's see if we can see what happened.
That's a shame because he was catching up with 2nd position.
No, that's both of the Turo. Wait, that's not a Turo.
Well,
Yes, it's a Turo, my mistake. He lost it on...
it happened too far back, unfortunately. Well, that's too bad.
I saw what he... after Tosa, going down to the Aqua Minerale there, he lost it on the braking. He just blocked the brakes up and went into the gravel trap.
And David Junt, meanwhile, is getting closer to Petar Labak, who seems to have way less pace. They are right now 1.5 seconds apart, but the speed of David is much quicker, so he's reeling in almost a second a lap.
Well, he's definitely gaining. Apart from the fact that the grass and dirt sections are really slick, it appears that the track itself is pretty low on grip as well. So, and you can see that with the way that David is having to fight with the car. So, as tires wear down, that could prove to be a problem. Also, you can see in this picture Paolo Rossetti not far away from Hlavik, who's just ahead of David. And so this is very quickly going to become a, now we have both Lowtie in the top.
Vincent Beretta.
Vincent Beretta out of the race. That's
Oh
unfortunate.
goodness, what's that?
So, I don't,
Tosa. He lost it there.
oh yeah, here it is. We've got the replay now. Toza again. Well, what do you guys think? Could he have had some kind of a brake bias problem with his car?
Yeah.
I mean, because this has happened multiple times in this corner for him, and finally now he pays the price with a broken front wing. So at this point...
Well, each of these cars has its own characteristics and peculiarities, and many of them, those that are not the best cars, they certainly struggle. So in this situation, in a track like this, it's too tempting to reduce wing too much, be able to have that huge speed advantage that we saw Vincent did have. But then you pay dearly for that, because that also means lack of stability on the brakes. And this could very well be what has happened to Vincent, that he was running very low wing, but then he struggled a lot because the braking zone at the end of that very quick part of the track, unless you arrive with the car clearly centered, it can give you a good scare, or in the worst possible situation, in a spin and hitting something.
So we're continuing to watch David Yunt here, who is coming up to Rivazza, and he has Peter Hlavik just in front of him here. And this actually, they're both closing on Paolo Rossetti, so this could very quickly, in a matter of a few laps, become a three-car battle.
And as Alberto, as you were talking about stability and stuff, I just saw both Peter Hlavik and David Yunt just flying over, not literally flying, but really going fast through Aqua Minerale. I almost thought
that's likely because he has much more wing.
All right, now, David Yunt's in a situation where he could very well make a passing attempt, if not now, then maybe in a lap, because you can see that he's gaining significantly on Hlavik when they go through Tamburello and Villeneuve. Now they're at Tosa, heading up the hill. So it appears that he has a slight speed advantage with that Ford Cosworth engine. Hlavik, of course, is running I believe the Minardis are running a Ferrari engine at this point. Yeah, not necessarily the spec Ferrari engine that you would drive if you were the factory team, but now he's right with him as they exit Aqua Minerale.
Isn't that the last year's Ferrari engine at the
Possibly. I remember that, historically this was the first time that Ferrari had actually sold their engines to another team. It hadn't happened before in Formula One. So here's David looking down. Oh goodness, they've got Didier Congeot kicking up some mist in front of them. So they're going to have to be really careful because they have to deal with that. The gap to Paolo Rossetti seems to have lengthened slightly. Now they come through the Variante Bassa.
I think if we're at any point of this race gonna see any pit stops, it's gonna be about now until in about 10 laps or something.
All right, so now David Yunt's got Peter Hlavik on the plate. He's got a chance here. Peter Hlavik takes a defensive line and forces David Yunt to go around the outside, going into Tosa. Let's see what happens. And that tactically was a very smart thing for Hlavik to do because he just stayed in front.
It was really brave and really effective.
And he's holding the inside line like that. He did it extremely early. It was clear that was, where he was going to keep the car. He's doing this, well, not exactly the same thing here. He's more on the racing line there. Now they're coming up the hill after Aqua Minerale. Really, it's clear that...
I think David now would have had an opportunity, but he...
I think David's probably keeping a little bit in hand, frankly, because he's seen what's happened with other people, and he doesn't want to throw away an excellent finish simply because he wants to get around Hlavik. Clearly he's got the legs to do it. It's just a matter of picking the right time and place to do it.
Yeah, I think he's just waiting.
Hlavik, well, there you go. Hlavik runs off the track.
Okay.
Incident of his own doing, and
I just wanted to say, David, he just has to wait until Tamburello, until this long straight, until Tosa.
Well, I'm sure that would have been his plan, but
no need for that. He just lost the position.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Peter Hlavik ran wide, and David Yunt immediately took the opportunity.
Sometimes that's the way it goes. So now that elevates David Yunt to 5th place. Peter Hlavik is 6th. His teammate, Yves Placé, is 7th in the other Minardi. That's really an impressive performance by those two. Obviously, discounting the Lotuses, the Minardi team are the ones that are really cashing in on the first lap harem-scarum situation, because they got to come up the grid quite dramatically. So one other thing that we might want to look at, here is our friend Brian Janik, who is, I believe, already a lap down. I could be wrong. Yes, he's 2 laps down. And he is running currently in 11th place in the Lamborghini. So it'll be interesting to see how good he can do. I mean, attrition may provide him the opportunity to get that car into a top 10 or perhaps a points-paying contention situation. Right now, he drove obviously a very, very exciting and eventful race with the Jordan as a one-off last race. This car, of course, is not nearly the car that the Jordan was, but by the same token, there's been a lot of attrition already, so, and the race is not over yet, so who knows? I mean, we're only really a third of the way through the race.
Yeah, I think Ryan, he needs a lot of luck now, or a lot of people, to get. He's 20 seconds behind Jonathan Asakwan, and yeah, as you said, we still got 40 laps to go, but I think it's already really stabilized the race situation up until except for some battles, some.
You're probably right. It'll be interesting to see if the role that tire wear plays later on. We'll have to just keep a close eye on that. The gap now between the leader David Jakes and second place Mikael Janik is now 32 seconds. So
as we can see, David Jakes has just gone through Aqua Minerale and is now going uphill again, while Mikael Janik is now lapping Ray Riddle and going into Tosa. So that's quite a distance.
Well, David was probably blissfully unaware of all the craziness that was occurring behind him. He's just going to continue on his way, looking like,
David Yunt seems to have had some kind of error or whatever 2 laps ago, and that has allowed Peter Hlavik to railing back.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, these two are. These two still are in a pretty close contest as they come through the start-finish area. We'll have to keep a close eye on these two and see if, of course, as soon as they get on the straight and then into Tamburello and Villeneuve, I mean, this is all flat out, providing you don't put a wheel on the wet pavement or the grass. And David seems to be able to hold his own without much trouble as they come up to Tosa.
Just watching Carroll with Ayrton Senna's McLaren, and well, at some points of the track he has it quite good, and it's mainly the fast parts, but in the turns he he pretty much struggles with it. Probably has.
Well, we're watching him come up to Tosa now. The car's sparking a lot, so he's got it set very low as he comes up the hill. I mean, we're familiar with the fact that the Honda V12 is a very angry power plant. It cracks on with the power. It's not as smooth of a delivery as some of the other cars. Senna, in real life, famously said that he preferred the V10 engine, which at this point was being used by the Tyrrell team. But nevertheless, this was obviously a very potent package. So yeah, Carroll is, he isn't. You're right, Pascal. He doesn't seem to be very sure-footed in the turns, but it's not nearly the kind of unstable situation that we saw with, say, Vincent Beretta earlier, where the car, if he doesn't nail a corner exactly right, he's going off into the grass. So.
But as you said, the V12 has a rather nasty delivery, a way of delivering the power, and I think Carroll, he's just not used to it that much under race conditions, and I think that's just, he's driving the car for the first time in a race, and We shouldn't be too harsh on him for criticizing.
Well, I mean, for a
if he-
first
if
time
he-
driving
he
the car, he's in
struggles.
8th place. I mean, that's pretty good.
That's right too.
And Carroll's he's not a driver that we see a lot here at HSO. He takes part periodically, but I don't think we would. He's a regular face, but he's not always in races. So this is a rare opportunity for him to, if not post a top 10, perhaps something more. While things have calmed down a bit, let's take a look at what's coming up in the weeks ahead here at HSO. Next Sunday, we begin the 1982 World Endurance Championship at Monza, 1,000 kilometers. And that's on Sunday, February the 12th. Really looking forward to that. Alberto and myself will be driving a BMW, and Pascal, you're going to be driving in that race as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna be driving the number 7 Ford C100 together with Alberto Winster.
That should be really an
Yeah.
interesting race. Then we have Wednesday of the following week, heats 1 and 2 of the Thruxton round for 1996 British Touring Car Championship. If you guys have been watching Jonathan's excellent coverage of that series, it's been pretty crazy. Lots of fender in your door action and very, very competitive. So if you like that, tune into that on Wednesday night. And then we have the Grand Prix of Monaco, of course, the 4th round in this series that's going to be taking place on February 19th. And that's a track that's always an equalizer. Be really interesting to see if driving talent there really comes to the front as opposed to just having the best car. So we're at 26 laps complete now. And the battle between David Yunt and Peter Hlavik is still, it's about at the same spot. David Jakes just put another lap on these two. But Peter Hlavik is trying to stay in contact with David Jakes, just barely succeeding.
And we got something else developing, I think. Or at least, if my vision is not fooling me, Jonathan Asserklund, who you mentioned just now with the BTCC broadcasts, he's catching up in tiny steps, but he's catching up on Ray Riddell. So I think, oh yeah, that's... I think Ray is also pushing hard because he just locked up his front right going into Aqua Minerale.
Yes, here is this, well, the car that's immediately in front of Jonathan right now is Ludovic Tiangu, so he's not actually in contact with Ray Riddell just yet.
Oh no, but he's like 5 seconds. The distance is about 5 seconds. And there's
Yes,
still
but
the
looking
same
at lap
sector.
times, it seems effectively that Jonathan has been lapping quicker than Ray in the last laps for whatever reason.
And this, if they do come into contact with each other, this would be a battle for 9th place. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that this could be, a battle that might yield points if something else happens at the front. Of course, Jonathan is the perennial 7th place finisher at HSO. A running joke that he has very good-naturedly tolerated. But now he's gotten around the. You can see there, interestingly, the Lamborghini has more legs on the straight than than Jonathan's AGS. But clearly, he's quicker in a low-speed situation, I would think.
That's also very likely a matter of the wing settings that both have.
I'll tell you who is probably on the sidelines right now, really, shaking their heads after what happened at the start. The people who didn't qualify for the race. I'm thinking of people who are driving, for example, the footwork team, people who didn't make it onto the grid. And here, after just one turn, you have 10 cars, well, not that soon, but just a huge chunk of the field just decimated. So, and wondering to yourself, man, I would have liked to have a shot at that. But that's the way it goes sometimes, especially on a surface like this.
Maybe that would be also wrecked on the corner, so you never know.
right?
Yeah, you
Because
really.
that's I mean, what we have seen in the most, so to speak, well, calling situations has been with Greg, because he is a championship contender. And the problem for him, and I know he must be especially angry about it, is that he had to start on fifth position, which is not where he usually starts. And that means it's much easier to get involved in accidents like this, because David Jacks, for example, made his usual decent start, good start, and he quickly got out of the trouble zone. While Greg, instead, despite doing a good start, received completely in the face the shunt that Francois Remen had.
Yeah, and Remen and his teammate Lassina were starting in the road just in front of him, so it's easy to see how he couldn't get out of the way. But that's in previous races, he started in that exact row, the one that was in front of him. So it wasn't an abnormally poor qualifying performance from Greg. He just happened to be, as you would say, in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yes, but my point was this: the further back you are, the more chances you have of suffering such incidents.
No question about that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's a really big risk of starting at the rear.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna mention a few times. I cannot remember exactly, but when, for example, end of the 90s or beginning of the 2000s, Michael Schumacher had to start from the back at some, I think, Suzuka in I don't know exactly when he was going through the field and he crashed somewhere and lost his front wing because he started at the back. And I think something similar happened here just at the beginning of the race.
So the gap between Jonathan and Ray Radal seems to have leveled off a bit. So,
still about 5 seconds. But it looks like literally everything has been. Oh, okay, that was close. Has been calmed down now, and I just saw Michael Janek going very close to Didier Conchaud when lapping him yet again.
Oh, geez, that wouldn't have been.
That wouldn't have been too pleasant at all.
Here's the replay. Let's see what happens here. He's going down the inside. Oh my goodness! I think what happened there was that Didier Conchaud just simply didn't see him. Saw him at the very last minute. Thankfully, was able to make room, and there wasn't a problem. But yeah, you're right. That was very close.
If that would have been a crash, I think we would have seen even the virtual
the virtual Tifosi would have got up and left. Yeah. Yeah, they wouldn't have liked that very much.
Not at all.
But it would be really excellent. Obviously, I mean, I was mentioning this last broadcast when we did the 1978 series last year. We went an entire season where Ferrari didn't score a single point, which was really bizarre. So
I think the Ferrari in '78 was just too difficult to drive. I mean, for example, even worse than the Brabham that you drove.
That car was just frustrating, like you wouldn't believe. It sounded beautiful, but I paid a heavy price for that.
I tried the Ferrari at Zandvoort last year, and I thought, no, that's not worth it. And yeah.
So the gap with Jonathan is relatively about the same.
Actually, it's gotten a little bit closer now. It's just 4 seconds.
Okay.
I think Jonathan, theoretically, he could see Ray. And the only one between them is the Piccolo and the Lotus.
Yeah, Del Piccolo is between the two of them now. Now, yeah, he's clearly closing now on Radal, so we'll have to see what happens. I mean, Del Piccolo, I don't think will. Actually, Del Piccolo lapped him just a bit ago, so in actual fact, Del Piccolo will probably lap Radal before Jonathan gets there, if the current trend continues. don't believe the second car, the second AGS, started this race. I believe that one failed to qualify.
Peter Lavak has a pit request. I think he's gonna change tires now. Oh yeah,
Okay.
it really looks like he's gotten his
We are
tires
at half race,
warm.
so if someone has that strategy, it's obviously the moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
and as you see, he's really sliding around. So
Actually,
it's
he's not going in this time.
not now.
Not now, but we'll have to see if he comes in the second time. Some people actually have pit requests that happen automatically, and oftentimes they're not tuned in to any specific thing. So that could potentially be what's going on. But
I think in R Factor you can do this automatic pit request is based on fuel levels, because I don't think that's the case this time, because in 1991 refueling was the thing. As if I'm not wrong.
no, there was no refueling at this time. You put the fuel in the car that you needed to finish it. They brought back they brought back refueling sometime
94.
in the mid-90s, I believe.
1994.
That's right. Yeah, 94. So these cars you would be using the fuel you have on board. If people do stop to change their tires, the nice thing will be that the fuel weight will be lower on the next set, so the wear rate you would conclude would be a little bit better.
Actually, I actually really think, for some reason, I also now begin to think that it's some kind of automatic pit request, because Peter Lavak just went from second to third sector and the pit request went off. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
he might have.
might be
Disabled it.
Yeah.
He called it off.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
he's not.
no! He's in the
He's
pits
not
now.
going
Just coming in now. So this is the 1st
Let's
tire
watch-
stop.
Let's watch him.
There he is,
Let's
going
watch his
in.
pit stop.
The jacks come up. This ought to be really quick because obviously he's not adding fuel. Down he goes.
And
There he goes. A little bit of a slow getaway, but a successful stop.
we should introduce this kind of stopwatch for pit stops.
Yeah. I'll have to look into doing something like that.
And now that made Yves go. Yves Placé, he's now up in the range of 6 seconds to Peter.
So Lavak,
Also, Jonathan is now really well, in comparison to 3 laps ago, really close to
Oh, yes.
Ray Vidal.
yeah, he is
Only 2
definitely
seconds.
closing in now. And if that weren't interesting enough, we've got the leader coming up to both of them again. So it'll be interesting to see if Jonathan can get by. You can see how all you have to do is just barely touch the surface that's off track, and you end up throwing up a bunch of spray. That's
These
not only
last laps, Jonathan has been lapping 1 second quicker.
All right.
Ray Vidal, so it's no wonder that he is catching him.
well, it's just a matter of when then.
Now we hear
new
him
tires
going
soon.
by.
Oh, David Jakes goes flying by into
Oh, yeah.
Tosa.
What I think is quite interesting is Jonathan exiting Tosa or going through Tosa in 3rd gear. Quite, I think, too.
Well, different cars do better in lower speed corners with different gears. Like sometimes it's better to use a higher gear so that you have less wheel spin and you get more purchase coming out of the turn that way. It depends on the car, really, and the power plant.
I think the optimal power delivery into those slow corners are really 3rd, or as you just saw, going out of Aqua Minerale, 4th gear even.
All right, so now Jonathan has got Ray Vidal right in front of him. Well, not right in front of him, but he's definitely closing now, and he doesn't have anybody in the way. And when you have that driver in front of you, it is a carrot. It's certainly encouraging you and spurring you on. As they come through the last 2 corners here. Now down to the final chicane. So now we get to see how much of an advantage Ray has. Well, it appears that the Yamaha V12 has got a little bit more legs than the Ford DFR. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh man, Jonathan's heart skipped a beat just there, I'm sure, because he came very close to losing the car.
In the training session right before the race, we had a little talk, and he said this curb is killing him almost. He hit a curb already in training sessions, and then he said, really, this is gonna be bad.
Well, Ray Riddall gets a reprieve there because Jonathan has to collect things back up here and try not to. I mean, what comes next is critical. You don't want to let that affect your driving, but you don't want to lose that rhythm. And it looks like he's back on the horse, as it were, and getting Ray back into his sights again.
He didn't really lose a lot of time with that incident, but as you said, his heart must have skipped a bit.
Yeah,
It's something different if it affects your confidence.
Yeah, and that's the critical thing. I mean, really, all he has to do when he's going through Tamburello there is just make sure that he doesn't put a tire where he shouldn't.
Yeah, but that's a psychological part of all this, because when you go through that exact spot again, they will be soon doing. You are always there having in the back of your mind that idea of not to hit that, and just because of that you end up hitting it. So you tend to focus too much, maybe.
It's an interesting. That is an interesting point of view. And here we can clearly see that the Yamaha V12 has more grunt to it than the DFR Ford power plant that Jonathan has behind him. So if Jonathan wants to get by Ray, he's going to have to do it in the twisty bits of the track, not in the flat-out bits.
That flat-out bit, I must say, is neither a gift when it comes to overtaking, because the quick section, Tamburello and all that quick part that comes right after the start-finish line, is very dangerous, because you get very quick, but as we have seen, there is not really a lot of different lines go through those corners.
No,
and
there's
when Jonathan put his wheel in the curb, the reaction was instantaneous. So trying to go too wide on a park like this, it's certainly not easy. And we have seen Vincent Beretta in previous laps when he made his overtaking maneuvers, the car was completely out of composure when arriving to the braking zone, which is the reason why he lost it several times there. It's that final turn to the right before the hairpin at the end of that braking zone that is very dangerous. So if you are forced to take a very peculiar trajectory there to be able to overtake, it can get really, really hairy.
All right, so they're back on the main straight now and now approaching Tamburello. And even with the benefit of a slight slipstream there, Ray Riddall is still pulling out a big advantage just based on sheer horsepower. So
at the beginning of the straight, I saw clearly Jonathan moving to the left, which seems to indicate that he didn't want to be really in the slipstream. And the reason is probably that at the very fast part of that corner, he feels that he is probably losing too much aerodynamic downforce from the front if he's close to Ray Riddall at that point. So he certainly wants to make the move like this.
Man! Careful! Right up the diffuser of Ray Riddall. Be careful, man.
I'm giving him a little bump start again.
You can't have any outside assistance. That's a Formula One rule, guys. So Jonathan clearly has the better car in the sections we just saw. I would expect now that Riddall is going to pull out a little bit, and maybe Jonathan will have a chance to take another stab at him when they get back around by Aqua Minerale again.
Oh yeah.
For those of you who are just tuning in, this really is the best battle on the circuit right now. And
look at that. He moves to the left. He doesn't want to be in the slipstream at that part.
Yeah, very, very good observation. This would be a battle for ninth.
There's also a battle developing right behind him between Paolo Rossetti and David Lund. Not that much, but still, basically the same developing procedure.
Oh yeah, it's just behind these two, and yeah, Yunt closing in on these two. So it'll be interesting to see what transpires there.
So Jonathan's again in the twisted section with Ray Riddle. He's getting very close again.
This time he didn't.
We'll see if he can force Ray into an error again.
Well, he's much further back this time at Aqua Minerale than he was before. Maybe by design, because he came very close to hitting the back end. Okay, now he's, oh my goodness, had a loose moment there. Oh, Ray locks up, so maybe he's starting to feel the pressure.
Yeah, he certainly is, and remember, neither of them has stopped for tires, so
That's true.
I don't know what choice of tires they had, but those tires must be already at no less than half of their life.
Oh goodness, Jonathan had an excellent exit from the last chicane there, but of course now Ray's going to rocket away from him.
Yep, Ray definitely has the speed advantage, even though Jonathan is in a slipstream.
Yeah, he has a little bit of a slipstream now. You can see it.
Now Jonathan is faster, but not fast enough.
No, but he's at least able to keep close. I mean, that's going to be helpful when he gets up to Aqua Minerale. He can try something there, but that's not a location where it's where you'd ideally want to pass.
Jonathan's car has a spectacular traction coming out of the corners, much better than Ray's car.
I'm watching from.
They accelerated at the same rate.
Oh boy, here we go. Down, oh, contact!
Oh.
There's contact.
Oh god. And
Colin Rossetti goes through, which is not a pass for position, but my goodness, there was contact there.
I just wanted to say I'm watching from Paolo Rossetti's onboard cam, and oh my goodness.
Jonathan, I believe now, well, he was letting David Yunt through there. The question now is going to be, does Jonathan have any kind of damage to his car, superficial or otherwise? It does not appear he does, at least now. Let's see what happens when he brakes for this corner. No lockup.
Not at all.
No.
Oh, okay,
No,
that
it
was he
probably
just
only
hit the curb a
affected
little bit.
slightly his front wing, but the front wing is still there, so.
But at the same
no
time here, we've got a
big
really interesting battle developing between
Oh,
David
right,
Yunt
right,
and Paolo
right.
Rossetti. Here they come into the final corner.
And I think part of the problem is that Rai is braking very early, probably with
Yeah, and Jonathan
brakes
is back on his-
tire problems.
Jonathan is on his back again because right.
Jonathan
he had to
wasn't
slow down
expecting
a lot.
that.
He had to slow down a lot to let those
That
two.
battle may have been tabled just for a minute, but we have the battle between Rossetti and Yunt
Oh, there it
now.
goes again. Oh, on the outside. No.
Oh my goodness! We got two insane battles now, coming up the hill now after Tosa, now into the left-hander before Aqua Minerale. We'll see if Jonathan can. Last time he ran into the back of him here. Not going to do that again, I don't think. No, he's much more conservative here than last lap.
But he's hitting the curbs, so
Yep.
he might want to be a little bit more careful there.
And
There's
next
no better
driver's
sit.
briefing, we will have to tell these guys please not to do all the battles at the same time.
Yeah, I know. Well, be careful what you wish for. You might get it. We've had a stretch where we didn't have anything to talk about, and now we've got two battles going on at the same time. We almost have them in the same frame. You can see David Yunt and Rossetti are right together. In fact, that is the battle now. Yunt is now looking right at Paolo Rossetti, and they've got Didier Conjot just in front of them.
Oh, and Rossetti, he's feeling the pressure. He just had.
Absolutely. Now he's got to try to get around Didier Conjot, which is not going to be easy with Conjot driving it. Well, he lets him by. That was just him being sporting. Rossetti taking a strange line going through there. He actually got the car in
the wet part.
Yeah, the wet part. But now, clearly, Yunt has got an opportunity here. He goes down the
Now look at
inside.
the situation that I was telling you before. You have
Oh.
to take an outline
That
here,
was- that
and
was
that's the
actually-
reason why David had to back up. Because otherwise, the final part of this with the heavy braking can be very dangerous.
Yeah, I think David made the right call there. That was not the ideal place to be necessarily. And to your point, Alberto, Villeneuve really kind of makes overtaking at Tosa not a very safe thing to do.
I think I can see that Ferrari is preparing for a pit stop for Michael Janak.
Okay.
So we could have a look on the pit now, but of course with these battles going on. This is really, really difficult to keep track of it now.
And these two are coming up to lap Carroll in the second McLaren. So that will factor in, probably. Oh man, Rossetti really trying to get as much out of that chicane as he can. Now we've got another opportunity here for David.
It's interesting how he puts the wheels on the wet.
That's weird. That to me would be inviting disaster. I don't know. But as we've seen with
yes, because it's easy that the wheel on the left, the rear.
Now David actually, this would be.
It's like a repeat of what happened in the previous lap. He had to look down the inside, but realized that wasn't the smartest place to be. It's funny because, you know, after a particularly fast section.
Michael Janek is in the pits.
All right, Michael Janek in the pits now, getting tires, and he's exiting now.
9 seconds, I think. About.
Well,
I had a stopwatch here.
Oh, cool.
It was about 9 seconds. So.
Well, his gap now is increased to a full minute behind David Jakes. So that it was probably more of an insurance thing for him that he wanted to make sure that he can make it to the end, because we now have about 19 laps to go. It's amazing how time flies.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if our leader comes in. My guess is he probably will, just as a matter of insurance. What do you guys think?
Probably, but I don't think
with the massive advantage that he has, I
would even say he could say I would safely say he could even like break his front wing and still go to the pits and leave as leader.
I'm sure he wouldn't want to test that theory though.
No, not really. Oh, now David Junt is. Oh no, not now.
No, Rossetti is not going to give him the right side of the track there.
No, he's not, and
he's in 4th place. He's all right. Yes.
And I was thinking while I was watching from David Junt's point of view, if the reason why Rossetti is going to the left is because he knows that he is rising a water spray, and maybe he just tries to obscure David's vision of the track.
I think now they're gonna give Carroll some.
If that would be true, it wouldn't be the most sporting move.
Well, it's something that, I mean, the track is wet. It's not really something that you can't do. And the only reason I can see for doing that is either that or taking a special line via the next corner, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So maybe if he thinks that David is forced to lift as much just because of that part of the track where he is not seeing clearly, maybe that's the reason he does it. I don't know.
I think we can now have a little bit more action because you see that's Kara in the number
just
1.
ahead of them, and that's not going to be a pass for position. They're going to be lapping him. So let's see if
he's going to watch his mirrors and he's going to.
Rossetti taking his customary line there.
Place to lap when you are going at this speed. So Carl probably is giving full gas and will let those guys by in the slower part of the track.
Oh no.
Oh man, this could be dangerous.
No, you're just playing it safe.
Carroll actually, okay, well yeah, he's getting out of the way, makes no problem for them.
He doesn't want to get involved in that.
But Paolo Rossetti is waving a lot. He's changing direction considerably in the corner, and that's making Junt's life a bit more difficult.
Yeah, I think that may psychologically be playing into what's going on here, because if I were David following Rossetti with his car all over the place like this, you don't know necessarily where he's going to be. David looking on both sides of him now. My goodness, this is...
Well, there is a limited amount of movements you can do, so maybe David is also trying to force Paolo into waving too much so that he's penalized later.
Well,
I don't know. But
it's funny though, because watching Paolo's car, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but I don't necessarily see him moving with any intent. Like, the car weaves back and forth, but it's more like what I would see in, like, pole position. It's irrespective of what's going on behind him, so I don't know. I'm not sure that that's part of what he's trying to do. He may not intentionally be blocking. It may just be that his car is very oversteery and just
I'm just
loose.
gonna watch from his onboard camera now, and I think I think he has quite some good. He has quite
There was
got
a clear
some
block
control over
of
his
that
car
part.
and the braking.
Well, if that's
So
the
left
case,
is on the right, and he should be moving to the. Now he's entering the corner quite early. But I would say that yes, he's intentionally blocking by changing lanes. Not that you can't do that, but it simply has a limit. You see what I mean?
you've seen how people in other races, if they decide to take a defensive posture, they do it very early on. And it's clear that they're going to stay in that spot and force someone to go around the other side. But then when you start moving side to side or making a move very late, I think that's where you get into the blocking concern. Yeah, he took a kind of an unconventional line there towards the inside, just there. So if you're in David's shoes, probably at some point mentally this starts to wear on you.
Yeah, but I think David, he's probably with showing, waving around behind him, showing himself in both his mirrors. Probably
Yeah, at
also
this
a
point,
little
he's
mind
probably,
game,
David is
little mind
probably
game
trying
to give him
to
more
make
pressure.
it happen via an error, putting pressure on him.
Yeah.
Well, now he's got a real hit of steam. He had to lift there because Paolo Rossetti was right in the, pretty much close to the middle of the track.
Oh,
Now he's forcing him to go around the outside.
It would be incredible if he could get out around the outside.
Well, real life shows us that that's not a good idea.
No.
He's, in my opinion, he's blocking a bit too much.
Yeah, it's probably, I mean, oh goodness, well there Rossetti made a slight error and got in the curving. But of course here, yeah, this is starting to look a bit suspect from my point of view. At best, it's borderline, and that's at best.
Yeah. I'd say.
Well, Paolo is new in this league, so he probably isn't used to how we race here. We are not.
But I think
Normally, we do
if he
not
follows,
want
for
to see
example,
that much
Formula 1,
blocking.
I think if you follow Formula 1 nowadays, I mean, it's the race that is similar to Formula 1. You know, change lanes once, then you're good. You zigzag, and then you're at least borderline.
I should put that, meanwhile, that Jonathan Otherklind is still behind Wright Riddle.
Oh yeah,
The same distance right now, but
Yeah.
So while we follow the most interesting battle at the moment, that is the one between David and Paolo, but not forget this one.
I just thought I saw Didier.
Here he comes again with a full head of steam. Down the inside, Rossetti now, he can't counterattack.
Why is
But look at that, he moved to the braking zone, and now David will try to go to the inside and get the... No, he didn't.
I wonder why was David lifting off that much? I mean, I personally, okay, I'm more aggressive driver, and for example, also in those braking zones, I wouldn't have lifted off there. I would have, I would have gone to the braking zone and tried to stay in front. But I was just saying, I just saw Didier Conjur driving really slowly, and I thought he would have problems, but it's just.
Well,
I think that David simply doesn't trust.
Oh, now he's on the inside. Oh, and David actually runs off the circuit. Rossetti goes back by again.
They hit each other. I saw David's front left hitting Paolo's right rear.
It's probably a case of David getting a bit angry with all that blocking.
Yeah, David's a driver that does not... David's a driver that's very that is aggressive in his own right, but not to the point where he puts his car at risk. He generally knows when it's a good idea to back off, and I think that's what we've been seeing throughout. But clearly, he's probably at this point just really frustrated. A question might be, you know, would he go for the pits and change tires and try to pass Rossetti in that way later on? But then you're assuming, of course, that the Lotus team is working on a strategy that would involve a pit stop.
Talking about pit stops, I see David Jakes. He's sliding around the track already a little bit, but I don't think he's gonna go to the pits. I mean, we only got 13 laps or something like that to go.
Yeah, at this point, there wouldn't be much point.
I think he could just be smoothly going around the track, slowly, just enjoying his pretty safe victory.
Pretty amazing how these two, the McLaren and David Jakes, have been able to just absolutely gel. I mean,
I think this is gonna be a complete dominance now.
Well, now we're coming down to Ravazza, and yeah, I see what Alberto's getting at. You can see how Rossetti is taking a very early arc into the corner, and it's very hard to view that as not being by design.
The big problem is that if you look carefully, you will see that at the biggest braking points, he's changing lanes in the middle of the braking area, which is quite dangerous. I mean, you have to pick your choice and then brake in straight line. Look at, for example, now you will see it when they come to the end, to the final braking zone. He's now at the middle of the track. He will move.
There it is, right there. That is a block.
Look at that.
That's yeah. This is okay.
I think David must be cursing right now.
Yeah, I would be if I were him too. That was a very deliberate.
I mean, being on the left before that corner is not the natural thing to do. The natural thing to do is to stay where David did.
But you could see right there that he very deliberately moved to the left as he was approaching. David had a head of steam. He was coming up, and Paulo drifted to the left.
In worst case, it would have ended in a crash, a pretty bad one, like we saw in Interlagos with Richard Cox and I don't know who else.
Miroslav.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe. Yeah.
Exactly. That was like that.
That accident, though, when we looked at it, that had more to do, at least in my estimation, with misjudging closure rate, because as soon as Richard put the brakes on, he ran clear to the back of him, so he wasn't expecting Richard to apply the brakes when he did.
Yeah, but as you see, that was.
Yeah, okay. Rossetti is really. One thing I've watched there is he's really taking liberal approach with that second to last corner, almost like having all four wheels onto the grass.
That wouldn't do him any good. Not at all. First of all, it would be a clear contact.
Now look at this. He will be in the middle.
He's driving in the dead middle of the circuit. Well, now I think David's like, I'm done with this crap. Comes down the inside. He moves. He moves across, blocks and coming in.
I think David could be a little bit. I see. You see, definitely David is not going flat out into through Villeneuve's corner. I think if he would be on full throttle for a split second more, he would be past him.
Well, I think David's best bet at this point is to wait for Rossetti to make a mistake, and then slip by, and then shake his fist at him as he disappears into the distance.
I would say
perhaps with one digit extended, but or not.
That would be quite It would be quite cool if that would actually be possible.
That's another thing we can't do in our factor, but at times.
In Grand Prix Legends you could.
Yeah, Grand Prix Legends, yeah. That would be passing him and...
Exiting Ravazza now, back up to... And Rossetti now... Once again, Rossetti takes the break.
The problem is that Rossetti is carrying the way of driving of another league. There are many other leagues out there where such things, well, they either close an eye to that or simply didn't care about it. But we usually don't see here things like that, like moving the braking zone. You will see it again this time. He's in the middle, he moves to the right.
That was close. Come on.
He thought about it.
David's corner. He got him.
Yeah.
David's got him finally.
And that was Paulo. He almost ran into him.
Well, it's over now. I mean, clearly. And now you see how much he was actually holding up David. Because now David's just going to streak away into the distance, and he must be breathing a huge sigh of relief now.
Yeah, I think.
I really hope this for his sanity, because if he has to continue the fight with Paolo, he will drain himself there.
Yeah, you can see he's just absolutely streaking away now. So clearly, we'll have to see what happens after the race. But that was it's an interesting.
It was a really intense fight.
Yeah, very intense fight. Perhaps.
I think we can go back to Ray versus Jonathan now, because they are also really, really close.
Oh yeah, it's true. They're right together now. So good timing. Coming into the chicane, right with him. Oh my goodness.
They're not two cars. They're one long car.
Yeah, freight train.
Yeah. Oh, I think Jonathan just missed the shift there.
Yeah, I've noticed that he's been shifting to sixth kind of gingerly as he drives, so not sure if
almost
that's...
as if he's got a gearbox problem.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you said yourself, he's told you that the car is killing him, so, I mean...
Not the car. Not the car. I mean the first turn when he lost it at Tamburello. That curb. I mean...
He's short shifting, you can hear.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to me that he would be. It's interesting to me that he would be short shifting like that. Maybe he has information that we're not privy to. Perhaps he sees that engine life is running low, and he's trying to take steps to allow him to get to the end. Of course, that's just pure speculation. We have no idea.
Yeah. Well, I think. If his engine life was running low, I would say what he should have done is just put the rev limiter. Oh,
there.
Right.
Oh man! Here's an opportunity right here. He's alongside him now. Oh my goodness.
What I wanted to say, he should have put his the rev limiter further down than he already has, or if he hasn't put it down at all, I think that would explain it. He's over-revving it there.
Well, it's interesting because that power plant is being run by other people as well. The LaRousse is running that engine, and so is there's one other team that's running the engine, I believe, but in this race at least you've got this car and David Yunt's car running the same power plant. Now Jonathan's right on the doorstep once again.
But Ray is just pulling away with the Yamaha.
Yep, same old story.
Is it just me, or is there some kind of smoke in the woods there?
I think there's some kind of mist that just hangs in the woods there. I don't think it actually is. I saw that a few times and thought that somebody go off, but no.
It's probably all that Paolo has priced in the previous laps that is slowly settling.
Yeah. Probably.
Or it might also be Greg's head fuming.
Yes. From maybe Greg's trailer is right underneath that location. So now we have second place driver Mikhail Janek coming up now to lap Jonathan. So it'll be interesting to see if this causes any kind of effect on this battle, which is a battle really for 9th place.
As we can also see, you said David Yunt is just pulling away. Yeah, he already got a distance, already got an advantage of 2 seconds over Paolo Rossetti. So.
Well, there you go.
Oh yeah, I think all the anger is now giving him even more power through the accelerator, you know.
I think the relief is probably just washing over him as well, and that would have a calming effect. Help him get to the finish, which, by the way, is not far away. 54 laps have been completed, so when David Jakes comes around this time, there will be 5 laps to go, and here he comes through the stadium section, crosses the line. 55 complete now, so that means that there are 6 laps to go.
That's the contradiction always here, because the guy in front just wants the race to finish. There are always too many laps to go. But in the case of the guy behind, that's the opposite. He doesn't have enough laps to catch him.
Yeah.
Ray Rida just locked the wheels there.
He's in the process of letting Janek by.
Yeah, but it's about a long progress. Long process, man. I mean, and now you don't. I think it kind of shows also how fast David Jakes is, because he's now almost lapping Michał Jana.
That's true. He's about 1 minute and 20 seconds in front of Yannick. So
Reminds me of what Senna did in Portugal '85.
right, Jonathan's
What
got
Greg Wasson did last season here with his shadow.
Yeah.
He was lapping everybody except himself, and that's just because he had not enough laps.
Yeah, but what I mean, for example, I remember from watching the movie, from watching the film Senna, the documentary, from Senna in '85 in Portugal, his first win, where he lapped everybody except for second place. And that's
well, that was his first real. I mean, that was his first win, but it was also in the wet, and it showed everybody how particularly good he was in conditions like that.
Yeah, well, the archetypal Senna race there was the Donington wet race.
Yes.
It was absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Ayrton Senna, but on that race, you really see that he was someone really special.
The other one that people would point to with Senna, and it's funny that we bring him up actually, because as most people would know, this was the track where he unfortunately met his demise in 1994. But the other wet race that really cemented Ayrton Senna's reputation as being a rainmeister was Monaco in 1984, when he was driving when he was driving the much maligned Tolman. His teammate was Stefan Johansson, and he was out qualifying him at every race. Senna was, and the only reason that he probably didn't win that race is because it was stopped in time for Prost to take the win. And of course, there were a lot of political, eye rolls going on after that, because of course Jean-Marie Balestre was running the FIA at the time. So a lot of people thought that it was rather convenient that the race was stopped just before Senna got to Prost. But of course, there's always going to be two sides to every story. But the other person that was really interesting in that race to watch would have been Stefan Beloff, our friend Richard Coxon's idol.
Oh yeah, with the Tyrrell.
Yes.
Oh yeah, with the weaker. I think the Tyrrell was, I think, the only car, not the only. I think one of the few cars in '84 to still have a normal engine and not a turbocharged one.
And in a situation like that, in the wet, obviously a normally aspirated car is easier to control. So that surely played into it. I remember watching that broadcast, and James Hunt described what it was like to drive a turbocharged power plant in the wet. He said when you put your foot on the throttle, the first thing that happens is nothing. The second thing that happens is everything. So there's, clearly it was a challenge for everybody who had a turbocharger.
Well, it sounds to me like an Affenhauser.
That's true. That's another way to look at it.
Yeah, but obviously driving in an oval is quite different.
Oh no, what's going on now? Okay. I'm just watching David Jakes, and I see he's shifting early. He's going in high gears. He's just enjoying the last few laps.
Yeah, the gap is actually dropping now.
I thought he might actually have some kind of problems with fuel or something.
No, he's just taking it slower because he knows that he's in no danger. He just the gap was 1 minute and 20 seconds, and now it's down to 1 minute 16. So he's clearly not driving for. He's not interested in setting a fast lap now. He just wants to bring the car home.
I think he has the fastest lap for the race anyway. So
yeah, I'd say that's a safe bet.
He has the pole fastest lap, race win, and probably he's downshifting and low RPMs because he also wants that adhesive with the label of the green driving, the Eco Boost.
All right, so we have.
I mean, if he actually has some kind of fuel problem, if he's running low on fuel now, or starting to, I would actually understand. I would probably think that what Greg or Mick Chapman have been raging about the crash would be nothing, absolutely nothing, compared to what David would let go, or what I think David would let go, at least on the inside in his mind, if he would run out of fuel on the last lap.
It would certainly be devastating, but based on the way he's been driving, I mean, we've been watching other battles all afternoon, but I never got the impression he was pushing ridiculously hard.
No, he didn't have the need to. I mean, he actually, by driving as he has done, with that red and white livery, he is reminding me of one of my, actually my favorite bike rider, Wayne Riding. He was the guy who just did exactly that. I mean, he started the race flat out. He said, I go, let's see who can follow me. Obviously nobody could. And then he took it more leisurely. But that's a bit of the same strategy.
If I can just point out the the YouTube live chat, Jason Fitch is his comment. He just commented, or a few minutes ago, that he thinks there are gonna be so many penalties after this race, or that he thinks that Gregoire and Paolo might even be sitting out Monaco. Something like that, and
well, obviously
he's been following it really closely, and he surely agrees with us that what has been happening is not is barely acceptable.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what, obviously at HSO we don't like to make snap decisions about things, especially after a race. Usually tempers are very high, people are annoyed, and you want blood immediately, or you want some kind of retribution. But the smart thing to do is to take a step back, look at the video, see what actually happened, and then weigh that against a driver's habits, what we expect them to do, and see what's appropriate. But of course, that's something we'll have to deal with later. Right now, David Jakes is on his final lap of the race. Another amazing performance that, frankly, I don't think any of us here are surprised by this. The surprise obviously came in the beginning with an accident that Francois Remen, by his own admission, says that he initiated on a track that he designed the very feature that would cause it. Oh my goodness, David Jakes got.
I think now David is trying to push again, but
that wouldn't be a really smart thing to do. I'm pretty sure that was just him losing concentration for a minute, but. As he comes through the last few turns here, I mean, obviously...
He went on the grass there. He lost the
probably
brakes.
the tires.
Tires are probably shot, because again, he didn't go to the...
Now, at this point, I'm really looking forward to Monaco, because I think that's where we will see the best Greg Wasson again. And it should be quite interesting, because David Jakes won't for sure have it that easy there.
But I really think... I think it would be more, I don't know, probably a bit more appropriate if David had Senna's car for the rest of the season. However, now he's crossing the line and he won at Imola.
David Jakes wins the San Marino Grand Prix.
And makes it 3 in a row.
3 in a row, fantastic. In second place, still going around the track and quite a distance back, is Mikula Janek. So he's got to bring it home, but that's a great result for him. Second place for Ferrari. He finishes where he started. Hard to be upset about that.
Lavak, obviously proud of his 6th place, 1 point for Minardi.
Yes, he's doing the donuts.
Doing his donuts.
Yep, and he's blown the Ferrari engine. Okay.
I just wanted to say he's doing his donuts until now.
That battle between Asserklint and Radal has resolved itself because they crossed the line after. There's a bunch of people who are going to be crossing at different spots here, obviously because of how spread out things are. Mikula Janek has not crossed the line yet. Gabriel Del Piccolo has crossed the line, and he finishes in third place.
David Junt is crossing the line now in 4th. Paolo Rossetti right behind him. Peter Lavak, as we said already. Yves Placé, he is for some reason now in the garage, stuck behind the Benetton, but I don't think that's any of our business now.
That's a really strange situation because you had the 3rd through 7th place cars finishing or crossing the line before the 2nd place guy gets there.
Now it's Karel, and I'm trying to pronounce his name now. No, I'm not. Not at all.
Martinizzen.
Exactly.
Martinez finishes 8th. Radal and finishes 9th. Jonathan Asserclinth is in 10th. Janik comes across in 11th. So your prophecy was correct, Pascal, that he had basically seen all the attrition he was going to see. Didier Congeot finishes in 12th in the Ferrari.
And the last one is Ludovic
Tiengo in the Ligier, which in itself is a victory because the Ligier Lamborghini is a blow-up machine usually, and the fact that he was able to bring that car home and not
blow it up, not blow it up, it's an achievement.
Yeah, don't worry, we will be reminded about that until Monaco at least.
All right, so that was...
User joined your channel.
Not yet.
Oh, yep. I believe we have...
Because Jonathan Asserclinth here now.
Oh, yes. Jonathan Asserclinth of the AGS team is joining us. Jonathan...
User left your channel.
Really interesting race. You were closing on Ray Radal a bunch of times, but it just wasn't to be. You end up scoring a top 10 with AGS.
I'm really happy with the top 10. I think our downfall today was the engine. It lacked a little bit of power. I was able to keep up with Ray in the curvy bits, but as soon as we came to the straights, he gained a bit of time, and then later on, I think he had been fuel saving because later on I couldn't keep up quite as well in the straights, but it was good fun.
Yeah, there were a couple of close calls there. It looked like you came right up the rear diffuser of Radal a couple of times, and there was actually contact at one point, I believe. But I'm guessing there wasn't any real damage done. It was just mainly
User joined your channel.
Yeah, I at least couldn't feel or notice any damage to the car.
User joined your channel.
But that was mainly a mistake on my point. I didn't quite expect him to brake that early, but... yeah, there were a few close calls indeed, but as I said, it was good fun, and I'm really happy with the results.
User joined your channel.
Well, you provided a lot of really good TV highlights for us. One thing, while we have you here, one interesting thing we could ask you is, because you started...
User joined your channel.
We've got everybody coming in here at once now. You started 25th on the grid, I believe. So you had the $75 seat for all the craziness that happened after the lights went green. Can you shed any insight on that for us?
I'm afraid I can't. By the time I got the incident, all I could see was a few wings laying on the ground and a red car spinning in the middle of the track.
Oh, man.
At that point, I hit the brakes and locked the rear, so I ended up on the grass and quietly and very smooth and very softly slid into. I think it was one of the Elmore powered cars. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened for me. Then I was able to get going, luckily. And yeah, that's that. I'm afraid.
We're also joined by David Yunt in the booth now. David, you provided quite a lot of excitement too for us as you were trying to find a way around Paolo Rossetti. From your point of view, that must have been quite a frustrating situation.
Well, to be honest, at that stage, even if I was trying to get that 4th place, I was actually still quite happy that I was still in the race, because at the start, I was like going around, I think Richard going to the left and following like Gregoire, and then I saw Dallara spin across somewhere, and there was a pile-up. I thought like I go left, but then people started spinning ahead of me as well, so I went left, but then noticed I'm going to spin off too, so I thought now my race is over. Then I was just a light punt, so I thought, okay. Then I spun, I thought I would be collected, not again. Then I was facing the wrong way, I saw somebody slide my way, and thought, oh, my race is over now. And it's still not, I just could, get the car around, get back, and then, pedal to the metal. And then, at the end, closing in on Paolo, it was really a hard fight. I felt like I had the tires over him, and of course I had always had the slipstream, but I felt my car was a bit quickly into the kink before Tosa, so I often stopped trying, went to the outside, trying to apply pressure there. And well, it a long time I couldn't make it done, and I didn't want to try and throw the 2 points away, which I nearly did when I clipped him, and I was very sorry about that. Probably thought I would stop, and then I would still try to go, and he still stayed there, so we clipped, but I gave him the position back. Yeah, it took a lot of willcraft and so on to finally get alongside and then pass him, and after that I was trying to control it because I thought I was never going to gain 2 Cabriolet, so I kept that 4th place, and with that start I'm really glad I got that great finish, and after Greco retired, so yeah, I take that one.
So that's
we think sorry, Jason.
No, it's right.
We watched almost all of the fight, and we were kind of speculating or thinking about watching Paolo doing his moves there. And what do you think? We also thought you might even get a little bit frustrated by him just not letting you by when you were already next to him. So you stayed.
Pascal is trying to politely say that Paolo was changing lanes in the braking zone, which doesn't seem really fair.
I wanted to ask, do you think he deliberately blocked you, or did you get any kind of did you get any kind of frustration at some point there, so that you just went a little bit more aggressive on the braking to Tosa?
Yes, I get it. You can shorten the question. I get what you know, what you want to say, but I'm not sure if I'm not, of course, not gonna blame accuse somebody of it, but maybe under pressure he was getting really. I don't know. He wanted to keep the position so bad, and I was like one moment I nearly rammed his back like Kimi on Verstappen at Spa, yeah, and then I had one moment where I was nearly alongside, but then he closed the gap so much that I thought, oh no, gonna go on the grass, then slide, and then we both fly off the track, and I'm not that dumb to try that move, so I moved out of it. So I just kept pushing, kept waiting for him to make that tiny mistake that would get him past, but in the end I got moved on, so I'm happy that I'm at that 4th place, but I don't know, maybe he got a bit felt pressure, but I'm not accusing him of that.
Well, it's amazing that you've racked up 3 points finishes in 3 different cars so far. I mean, you are the super sub now for this series, so it'll be interesting to see if any cars become available for Monaco, and then we can see what you can do there. But great drive. We appreciate your comments. I believe we had Cox in here a moment ago, but apparently he is left.
He's talking. No, he was talking to David Jakes, but now he's looking.
All right. Well, it appears that
we've got Ludovic Ciangusto in the booth.
We have Ludovic. I'm sorry. Hi. So you managed to get the Ligier Lamborghini to the finish. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was very difficult because at the start I was hit from behind. I hit someone in front of me. I bent my left suspension. The car was full to roll. It was this front tire because of a suspension. It was very difficult, and I have made 2 big mistakes at Tosa. I nearly crashed the car there, and well, I'm at the finish. That's all what I can hope for, because first corner before Torborello, I said, well, the race is finished. The Ligier has started to do a looping, and then when I crashed on the soil, I was no front wing, left front suspension broken. I said, no way I can do, and managed to do some reparation, and I start back, and I went, well, have to wait and.
Well, the fact that the engine didn't blow up is a victory in itself, I think, because if you talk...
Not really. I think that's Brown. It's because we many of a rave. I have a single problem with the engine.
Oh.
I have DJ with.
You only have problems with the microphone.
Yeah, that's the issues that you're having apparently. Like not the car, but with the sound
the
equipment.
microphone. Is it better than? No.
It's cutting in and out here and there, but if I had to choose between having car problems and microphone problems, I'd choose microphone problems. So.
So do I.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, great effort. I mean, now we know that car can make it to the finish even after it's been damaged. I mean, that's good. So anyway, I believe that's everybody that we have here. So
I think I have one more question for Ludovic.
Okay.
I don't know exactly where I started, but I think
I was 22 or 23. I don't remember. I started on the outside, the inside of a truck.
Okay, what I want to ask is your opinion on the crash and if you think a restart should have happened or not, because there have been lots of
research should have
debates.
occurred. Because when I arrived, there was it was nearly impossible to pass. There was a pile-up, there was a car everywhere, and that was very, very dangerous. And when I arrived at the pits, I see there was like some 9 or 10, I don't know, 9 or 10 fast car, which were behind me. There was something definitively wrong.
Okay.
well, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about that in the forum, but clearly it's a complicated situation. But it appears that we've talked to everyone that we can, and that probably will wrap it up for us here at Imola. I want to remind everybody what's coming up next Sunday. We have the Monza 1,000 kilometers. Then on Wednesday of next week is round 5 and 6, heats 1 and 2 of Thruxton BTCC, and then after that we have the Monaco Grand Prix February 19th. So the race is over for myself and for Alberto and all of our guests and Pascal Mikula. This is Jason White saying so long from San Marino.
User disconnected from your channel.